It started with a stomach bug. My 4.5-year-old daughter was sick. Diarrhea, frequent bathroom runs, the kind of illness that makes even the most independent little ones ask for help. My wife had to take our son to an appointment, and I was working from home, stuck in a day of online meetings I couldn't reschedule, so we called in help. My mother-in-law. She offered to come over and keep an eye on our daughter. She's done it before. We thought everything would be fine. But what happened next made me question everything. About an hour into my meeting, my daughter walked quietly into the room and tugged at my arm. Her face was pale, but it wasn't just the stomach bug. She looked uneasy. I turned to her, lowered my voice, and asked what was wrong. "I need help wiping," she said. I was confused. I gently asked, "Didn't Grandma help you?" She nodded. "She wiped wrong," she whispered. "She wiped in instead of out." I froze. My daughter, sick, uncomfortable, and still brave enough to speak up, was trying to tell me something important. I told my colleagues I had to step away and followed her to the bathroom to finish cleaning her properly. Then I went looking for my mother-in-law. She was in the kitchen, humming to herself, completely at ease. I said, "Daughter, says you wiped in instead of out?" She looked at me, unconcerned. I wiped her. "You think there's a better way?" I tried to keep my voice calm. "Yes. Wiping in can push bacteria toward the vagina. It can cause infections. You need to wipe out, away from the body." And then she said something that stopped me cold. "Do you have a vagina?" she asked. "No," I replied. "But I have a daughter, and I'm not going to let her get an infection because someone wipes the wrong way." That's when she said it. She doesn't have a real vagina yet. There's no chance of infecting anything. At first, I thought I misheard her. I asked, "What?" "Of course she has a real vagina. She's a female." But she doubled down. "Girls don't have real vaginas until they're teenagers. Their vaginas don't develop until puberty. There's nothing to infect." I stared at her, stunned. This was a woman, a mother of 3 daughters, the woman who raised the person I married. And here she was, standing in my kitchen, declaring with absolute confidence that my daughter did not have a real vagina. And that was the moment I lost it. "You're a woman," I said. "You raised 3 daughters. I'm married to one. You can't possibly be this stupid." Silence fell between us. She drew back, wounded. "You're out of line," she said. "If you can't appreciate my help, I'll leave." I didn't hesitate. "I'm more than capable of taking care of my daughter. You're welcome to get out." She left. 10 minutes later, my wife called. Her mother was furious. Said I insulted her for no reason. Said I disrespected her and threw her out over nothing. So I told my wife everything. To her credit, she didn't hesitate either. She was on my side. She agreed. Our daughter has a real body, with real anatomy and real needs. This wasn't just about hygiene. It was about safety, education, respect, and truth. But the damage was done. My mother-in-law hasn't spoken to me since, and I keep coming back to that moment, wondering if I went too far. Was I too harsh? Was there another way to say it? Should I have kept calm, even in the face of a belief so wildly detached from reality? She wasn't just misinformed. She was indignant, defensive, unwilling to listen. And she was so sure, so convinced, that a girl's body doesn't count until puberty. That kind of thinking isn't just wrong, it's dangerous. It tells little girls that their bodies don't matter until they're real. It teaches them to ignore discomfort, to downplay pain, to stay silent when something feels off. Because apparently, they don't count yet. But my daughter knew better. She knew the difference. She knew how she'd been taught to care for herself. And when something was wrong, she came to me. She asked for help. And I will never, ever forget that moment. She trusted me to protect her. And I did. But I also know this story isn't just about hygiene, or anatomy, or intergenerational ignorance. It's about how we treat people when they're wrong. My mother-in-law didn't mean harm, but what she said could have led to harm. So when she insisted she was right, despite what common sense, medical science, and basic anatomy tell us, I chose to speak plainly. Maybe too plainly, but maybe not. Because this wasn't about being right in a debate. It was about protecting a child. And in that moment, I didn't need her to feel comfortable. I needed her to stop. So, am I the asshole? Was I wrong to stand up like that? Was I too harsh, too emotional, too confrontational? Or was I just a dad doing what dads are supposed to do? You tell me. This is AITA Story Vault, and here's what I think. What makes this story so raw, so hard to shake, is that it touches something most of us take for granted, that adults know best. That experience equals wisdom. That a grandmother knows how to wipe a child properly. But sometimes, that just isn't true. Sometimes, ignorance comes wrapped in confidence, and that's where harm happens. It's easy to laugh at the idea that a little girl doesn't have a real vagina. It's absurd. It's textbook R bad women's anatomy. But it's not a joke when that belief ends with a child getting a UTI, or an infection, or worse, learning to distrust her own instincts. So let's talk about what really matters here. This little girl knew her body. She knew what was wrong. And she told someone she trusted. That's rare. That's powerful. That's the kind of self-advocacy every child deserves to learn, and every adult should respect. As for the father, did he say something harsh? Maybe, but sometimes clarity comes with sharp edges. Sometimes a line has to be drawn. And maybe the line is this: if you're too proud to learn how to wipe a child safely, you don't get to be the one doing it. The real tragedy here isn't that a grandma got her feelings hurt. It's that so many women, so many people have been failed by generations of silence, shame, and misinformation about their own bodies. But the cycle can end here, with one dad, one daughter, one hard conversation, and maybe a future where every child, boy or girl, learns that their body is real from the day they're born and worth protecting every single day after. Thanks for listening. And if you've ever had to defend someone you love from ignorance disguised as wisdom, drop a comment. Let's talk about it. This is AITA Story Vault. Until next time.